Boher Tove. Oh, excuse me. I forget sometimes I'm no longer in Bethany. Good morning, dear friends. I am the woman that is written about in your Bible. I am the woman who poured the nard over the head of Rabboni. You call him Jesus. The disciples got very angry with me for using my own nard in such a manner. They yelled at me and they made me feel so bad and so awful. They thought it would have been better had I sold that nard and fed the poor. They thought my little jar of nard was going to be the answer in saving the poor somehow. It was just a small jar, and it was mine. Rabboni, I mean Jesus for you. Jesus had done so much for the people in my village, and I wanted to give something back to Jesus. You see, he had healed my brother, who had been lame and had never been able to work in the field. And Jesus, he cured him. And now, thanks to Jesus, my brother will one day be married and have a family, because now he can earn a living in the field. I was so grateful. I wanted to do something so special for Jesus. And I know that Jesus has been so weary. He's been doing so much in our village and in so many others. He's been walking for days and days and has hardly rested until he finally came to Simon's house. I thought the nard would feel good on Jesus' head and feet. But yet the disciples, they yelled at me. But Jesus, he told them to stop fussing at me. Jesus said I had done a good thing for him. Jesus talked about me making his body ready for burial, but I didn't really understand it then. I don't know why he said that. Jesus also said that he wasn't going to be with us always. And I didn't understand that either. Jesus said to those disciples who yelled at me, he said, you know, those poor people who you want to feed with this young woman's nard, they will always be here, but I will not. Sometimes I think Jesus says crazy things when he gets really tired, because I didn't understand any of that. And you know what else Jesus said? He said that one day everybody was going to remember me for what I did. And I guess it's true, because here I am talking to you, and you are remembering me. My. I think the disciples don't like me. They got yelled at in front of a woman like Jesus, their teacher. I left Simon's house soon after all that happened. But it didn't stop me, because I love Jesus so much. I couldn't just let him go after I left Simon's house that day. But because I'm a woman, and I'm not as smart like the men, I couldn't be right there with Jesus. So I would walk around behind the scenes, and I would hide behind bushes and pillars so that I could follow Jesus wherever he went, so I could hear his teaching. My friends, Jesus speaks so beautifully. You could just listen to him day and night, and you would never tire of him. Jesus is a beautiful person. I hope one day you will meet him. But one day, while I was listening, I heard things that seemed rather strange. The religious men in my community, the scribes and the chief priests and all those men, I saw them lots of times gathered together in secret, huddled, talking quietly. I don't know what's happening, but I don't think it's a good thing. And it's almost Passover, disciples. And on the third house, I found him. I couldn't go upstairs because they were all men up there and I wasn't allowed. But I stayed beneath by the house, and I heard Jesus say marvelous and wonderful and scary things. He talked about his body being broken, and he talked about blood being poured out. And I don't know what any of that means, but it seems very scary to me. And he said that someone who was there with him in that room, they weren't going to be nice to him, and they were going to betray him. And I couldn't figure out why anybody would want to betray Jesus. I love him so much. Why would somebody do that? I don't understand. The meal was over for them also. And Jesus took them all out of the house that they were in, and they started walking through the village and out into the garden area. We have a beautiful garden, and it's called the Garden of Gethsemane. I used to go there a lot, but after what happened, it's not so nice for me there anymore. But Jesus and all his men, they went there. And he told a lot of them to just stay right there at the gate. But he took 3 of the men with him. He took, I think he took Peter and James and John. I think that's the 3 names that I heard. And he went farther into this beautiful garden with them. And he said to them, I need you to stay here. I need you to pray. Stay awake and pray. And then I heard more footsteps, so I know that Jesus went way deep into this beautiful garden. And I tiptoed around so they wouldn't hear me. And I listened to what Jesus was saying. And from what I understand, he was praying to his Father. And he was really sad. And he was crying. And I heard him say these very strange words. He said, Father, if it is your will, take this cup from me. And he cried. I've never seen Jesus cry. I didn't understand. But Jesus got up and he went out to see the other 3 men, James and Peter and John, and they had fallen asleep. And Jesus was very sad at that. And he said to them, can you not stay awake for me? My time is near. I need you to stay awake. I need you to pray. Pray that tribulation never comes to you. Pray that you never face trials. And Jesus went back into the garden again. And again he cried out. And I heard those words again. But this time he added, but Father, if this is your will, then I accept it. And Jesus came out a 3rd time and once again found the disciples asleep. And he said, rise and get up. The time is near. And all the other disciples came into the garden. And then just as soon as the other disciples came in, so did all these soldiers and guards. It was so scary. And I didn't know why they were there. They had swords and they had clubs. I had never seen such a thing around Jesus before. One of them grabbed Jesus' arm and wanted to arrest him. And Jesus said to him, tonight, why do you bring swords and clubs when every day you have seen me in the streets and you have heard me teaching in the temple? Why do you think you need clubs and swords tonight? They didn't answer him. They just took him away. All of them. And one of the disciples, he tried to kiss Jesus. And Jesus turned from him and said, you betray me with a kiss? That disciple didn't say anything more than that. But I followed them too because I didn't understand what they were doing. How could they take my Jesus away from me? got worse. They went into a courtyard, and the guards, they started spitting on him, laughing, and making fun of my Jesus. And then the governor of our village, Pilate, they had wakened him up and said, "You need to come out here and deal with this man because he's bad. He says he's somebody he's not. He's a blasphemer." And Pilate asked him, he said, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "Say so." And all the chief priests, they said, "See? See what he's saying? He's saying he's the Son of Man, of God. Kill him!" And Pilate was, I think Pilate was a little scared because he said, "I don't think so, but you can hit him and you can beat him. That's what you can do." And they did. And they beat my Jesus over and over, and he was bloody. And it was horrible. And then they took Jesus somewhere else. Because there's this weird little ritual that we have every year. And Pilate again has this opportunity to let a real prisoner go and save his life. And they brought out Barabbas. And he's a murderer. He's killed people. And Pilate said, "I can let Barabbas go, or I can let Jesus go." And you know what they said? They said, "Let Barabbas go." And Pilate said, "What am I to do with Jesus?" And all those people in the village who have seen Jesus day and night and heard his teaching, they said, "Crucify him!" That means they were going to kill him. They were going to kill my Jesus on the cross. I couldn't say it. I had to run away. I was so afraid. So Pilate said, "Then crucify him." And I heard the lashing start again. And I heard all of the soldiers and the centurions and all the little guards. They weren't saying very nice things to my Jesus. Snuck around and looked through a little hole. And I saw a purple cape on Jesus. And I saw that they had taken some of the thorny vines that we have, and they twisted them all into a crown. And then they put it on Jesus' head. And it stuck in there. And he bled. I didn't know what to do, and I ran again. It just started to be daytime. And a rooster crowed. And that one disciple who was with Jesus, I heard him say during the night, he didn't know who Jesus was. All before morning. It was a horrible night. But I knew the day now was going to get worse. Because now they were going to crucify my Jesus. He could hardly walk anymore. He'd been beaten so bad. So, as they were going up to the road that leads to this horrible place called Golgotha, where they crucified people, at least they had enough mercy to have somebody else carry Jesus' cross up there. Jesus never could have done it himself. Once they got to the top, they laid that cross out on the ground, and they made Jesus lie on it, and they stretched out his arms. They put a nail right there, and right there. And then they bound up his ankles. They put a nail right through him. Then they raised my Lord and that cross up into the sky and left him there to die. guys that were being crucified with Jesus, they were real criminals. They made fun of Jesus. They said, Jesus, you're the Son of God. Get yourself down. Get us down too. Jesus didn't say anything. Pretty soon a lot of us women gathered together. Mary, Jesus' mother, Mary Magdalene, her and she liked Jesus and her, they liked each other a lot. She was with them all the time. She was a lucky woman that way. I know this, but that's all right. Anyhow, a lot of us women, we all kind of gathered together away from the men there a little bit. We watched Jesus suffer. We watched how they poked at Jesus and stuck a spear through him. And then it was about noon because the sun was really hot. And so figured that's about the time of day it was. Jesus cried out. He said, Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani. Well, you probably don't know what that means. It would mean, my God, why have you forsaken me? And then he let out one more cry, but he didn't say anything that time. And I saw his chest go out. And that was the last breath my Lord took. One of the guards who had been standing at the foot of Jesus' cross saw him take that last breath. That's when that guard finally realized he was the Son of God. We stayed a long time after all the men had left, and it was getting dark, and we had to prepare for the Sabbath the next day. But we had to get Jesus off that cross. We are so thankful for Joseph of Arimathea because he went to Pilate because he was a really respected man in my community, and Pilate let Joseph have Jesus. And Joseph had linen with him, and he wrapped Jesus up in it. But that's all he could do because it was almost dark. And he laid him in a tomb. We saw it all. And then Joseph rolled a big rock in front of it so nobody would harm Jesus' body anymore. And then it was that I remembered what Jesus had said. I had prepared his body for death. Now I understood. Shalom.